Let me ask you about propaganda. President Obama in his State of the Union said that with ISIS, when Republicans say it's too grave a threat, it plays right into their hands. You said it's a clash of civilization. So are you playing into their hands as the president has charged?
Well, I think playing into their hands would be to ignore the reality of what ISIS has become. ISIS is not just some group of radicals on the back of pickup trucks. This is a group that's grown in both influence and sophistication. They have a very sophisticated problem that are recruiting foreign fighters. They have a sophisticated understanding of foreign immigration practices. You've seen how they've been able to insert people into Europe using the refugee crisis. There's a group that controls significant territory in Iraq and in Syria. This is a serious threat. Can we defeat them? Absolutely. But only if we have a real war against them, which is to find them and destroy them. And if you capture any of them alive, send them to Guantanamo and find out everything they know.
You said this threat has changed the nature of the immigration debate. You said during the debate this week it is dramatically different than it was 24 months ago. But during the immigration debate in the Senate that you were very much a part of, there were two amendments, one that dealt with visa overstays because of possible terrorists using that visa overstays, and another one about securing the border first before any kind of a deal. You voted against both of those. Weren't people worried about security at the time and not just because of ISIS in terms of terrorist threat?
Well, let me correct you about those amendments because they had already been dealt with in other amendments. For example, John Cornyn had an amendment on the border, which I supported, actually. I also sponsored or was a co-sponsor of the largest border surge in American history, 20,000 new border agents, completing 700 miles of fencing. As part of that, there was a biometric entry-exit tracking system that is required to prevent visa overstays, so we could identify people that had overstayed, know where they were, and be able to remove them from the country. All of that was either dealt with or about to be dealt with in the amendments that I supported.
So the threat was not a new threat.
But as far as this, well, it's a different threat. We clearly have in the past always had terrorist groups that have had an interest, but we've never had a group like ISIS that has an in-depth understanding of foreign immigration practices. For example, we know that one of the killers in San Bernardino entered the U.S. on a fiancé visa, something that most Americans didn't even know existed. And that process broke down. We didn't have the refugee crisis that we're now facing. We have always had terrorist groups, but even Al-Qaeda and some of the other groups that are out there are they strike at America as they have in the past on different occasions, but their focus was primarily on the Middle East. This is a group that has global ambitions of conquering and flying the black flag of ISIS over the White House. So the ISIS situation is dramatically different from any other terrorist threat we've ever faced. It is the most active, sophisticated, well-funded terrorist group we have ever confronted, and they need to be defeated. Either they win or we win, and when I'm president, we're going to win this battle. I've been saying now for a while, I believe I'm the only one in the primary field that can unite the Republican Party, which is critical, but also attract new voters who haven't voted for us in the past. But I believe I am best positioned to take our principles of conservatism and convince people that haven't voted for us in a quarter century that we're a better choice than the other party. And I know this. Hillary Clinton does not want to run against me. Their attacks are constant from their campaign. I cannot wait to run against her. If I'm our nominee, we will defeat her, and we're going to turn this country around.